we're pretty excited. We're about to head off on the ultimate off-road and off-grid adventure, and it is to the world's largest sand island, Gari, aka Fraser Island. Wow, so many memories for me growing up as a kid. So to get back there at any chance we can, we love this adventure. Now, to be prepared is really the main thing that we're going to talk about. There's 3 areas that we think that you need to check off. They are your modifications, they're your essential gear,
yes,
and then there is also your pre-departure checklist.
Yeah, and look, I think this...
And maintenance.
Yes, that's right. And this would be relevant anywhere you're going, whether you're getting on the sand, on the coastline, or if you are heading remote. All of these considerations should be taken into account.
Perfect. All right, let's start with modifications. Katie.
So let's talk about tyres and suspension upgrades, because really these are probably 2 of the most important things, particularly if you are getting down onto the beach. You want to make sure that you've got good quality off-road tyres and that you've had those suspension upgrades, because no doubt you'll have a bit of a heavier load. You're going to be driving in soft, sandy conditions, and these 2 things will really save your vehicle and also keep you out of trouble.
Absolutely. Now, if you are going to be planning on doing any sort of water crossings, make sure you've got a snorkel and some good underbody protection as well, particularly there over on Gari, because some of those ruts and all of that salt can cause corrosion, so you want to be prepared for that.
Okay, so next up, let's talk essential recovery and safety gear.
Yes, okay. Now, the etiquette when it comes to four-wheel driving is to have your own gear. And a really big one that we would say is check your gear before you go. You want to at least have a set of max tracks if you're doing any kind of beach driving out there in the sand. You'll also want to have a snatch strap. You want some soft shackles. If you've got a winch, that's a great option as well. Have a set of tyre deflators. Having a really good compressor on board, that'll save you some time when you get off the beach. You don't have to line up at the servo. Also have a tyre gauge. That way you know where your pressures are at, because you're probably going to be chopping and changing them through the different terrain that you're experiencing. Again, whether you're in the beach or you're out in the bush.
Yep, absolutely. We would say a UHF radio is an absolute must, not a nice to have, particularly if you are in areas where there is no mobile phone service or you're in convoy with other people. That's a great one to stay in touch, and also a really good safety device as well. Okay,
as far as first aid, if you can get yourself a first aid course before you go, we would highly recommend that, especially if you're travelling with little ones.
Yes.
And it's not necessarily to look after you, it could be to look after someone else that you come across. The other thing too is to have a snake bite kit. All right, Australia, there's plenty of them out there. They all want to kill us, so snake bite kit is a really good idea. Now make sure that you have a full first aid kit and that is well stocked. And then also if you are travelling with kids or international visitors, make sure you get them across dingo safety, because they're not pets, they're wild dogs, and you want to be careful.
Absolutely, or any other wildlife, depending on where you are travelling around Australia. Let's talk about your pre-departure checklist. You want to check all the things before you go, because that way you'll save any hassle while you're off there having your adventure. So think about all of your vehicle checks that you need to do. And Paul, you can go into a little bit more detail around that on vehicle maintenance.
Yes, absolutely. So servicing is a major one. Make sure that everything's up to scratch before you go. But we like to use, thank you to Tony Davies, Australian 4x4 Trex. He always says, check everything all the time. But he has underbody, under bonnet. What that basically means is if you're starting under bonnet, check all your fluids, check your air filter, maybe replace it before you go so that, you're not going to get it clogged up halfway through your adventure and then you're in a bit of a world of pain. Then move on down, do your lights.
Oh, don't forget the battery while you're under there.
Yes, give it a good shake, make sure those terminals are nice and tight, and that's it. Then you get to your brake lights, check your brakes, check your headlights, check your blinkers, make sure they're all working. Your suspension, nothing's loose, nothing's leaking. Your drivetrain, just make sure that it's all in good nick and you will not have a problem. The main thing is that you want to remove the stress when you're trying to go there to relax. You don't want to be rattled.
Yeah, definitely. Now, something else to check off before you leave is any permits or passes that are required, particularly if you're going somewhere like Gari or any of the islands in Queensland. National Parks pass is a must. You'll also need a camping permit and your beach access tag. And look, they are enforced, so don't risk it, because the fines are big and it'll ruin your trip.
Look, it is a really great point. You've got to remember that most of these places are actually gazetted roads. If they're on the map, they're probably an official road. So anything that you do there, some people treat it like the Wild West. We've seen it all on YouTube, but it will affect your licence out there on the bitumen. So seat belts, drink driving, speeding, hooning, just don't do it. Don't be that guy.
No, go and have a great time and let everybody else have a great time too. And the last thing we would say is, it's all good to have all of this gear, but check it before you leave. Make sure that your UHF radio and your torch batteries are fully charged and working. Make sure your compressor is working. All of these things that are going to save you stresses while you're out adventuring. Check before you leave home, you'll have no worries.
Excellent, that's it. All right, hope that helps you plan for your adventure. Get out there, enjoy it, and travel safe.